If you say that one more time, I'm going to poke the shit out of you when I see you.
To no one's surprise, reports are coming out that Shannon Sharpe's career with Disney is over. For those who aren't aware, Disney owns pretty much everything.
I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously.
Shannon Sharpe just got hit with a public L so bad, nobody saw it coming.
I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously. And we are looking into this very, very closely. And once we gather as many facts as we possibly can, we will go from there. And that is all he said. And I can mention his name because I received his permission to say that. I don't know what that means.
1 minute he was ESPN's front man, cashing million-dollar checks, looking like the perfect media king. Next thing you know, boom! Disney and ESPN dropped him like a bad habit. No warning, no mercy. His whole empire cracked overnight. We're talking old lawsuits popping up, quiet settlements coming to light, even wild audio clips hitting the net, all at once. Folks inside ESPN started turning on him fast. Disney big shots freaked out, trying to protect their clean-cut image. Contracts got torched, deals disappeared, and Shannon? He was left standing in the rubble, totally blindsided. Now, instead of taking that hit in silence, word is he's behind the scenes heated, ready to blow the whole thing up. Insiders say Shannon's got a revenge plan so nasty, it could take half the network down with him.
In my perfect world, this equates to Jay-Z, where the case ultimately dropped and Shannon is allowed to continue on First Take and continue to thrive and shine. And not just that, and have an illustrious career in the podcast stratosphere, doing Nightcap with Chad Ochocinco, doing Club Shay Shay, and ultimately gets this $100 million deal that he was all over the news about to sign just a couple of days before this report came out. In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is and how emphatic his client is proclaiming that she is right and she's telling the truth. I don't know where this is going to go. I can't speak to anything else. I don't know who Shannon Sharpe's legal team is and what they're suggesting. I imagine that everything that has transpired has been at the behest of his lawyers, not just himself.
His legacy's already smoking, and he's standing there holding the match like he's ready to watch it all burn. People been feeling something shady about Shannon for a while now, like that gut feeling you ignore, 'cause it's Shannon Sharpe. He's a big-time star, a proud black success story, the kind of dude we want to see win. But let's be real, maybe we gave him too much credit. Shannon might be loud, he might be flashy, but smart, that ain't always been his lane, especially off the field.
Usually, companies use a morality clause when they're hiring somebody or considering someone who's potentially going to represent the company in a public way. The purpose of a morality clause is to protect the brand at the end of the day. Everything has to come back to the bottom line, and they have to be able to know that what they put out there is reflective of the brand and what we call in the industry brand safe. Disney is widely known for being very strict and not playing around when it comes to the morality clauses that they put into their talent's contract.
Now, on the football field, that's a whole different story. Man gave over 30 years to the game and it shows. He's got it down to a science. And once he got on camera, he lit up the screen. During the undisputed run with Skip Bayless, Shannon was everywhere.
But the immediate reaction from Disney is a reflection of the court of public opinion and Shannon fighting for his life with his brand image. And we wouldn't be in this place if he hadn't established such a strong tie to having an affinity to assert his sexual dominance and preference on everyone else. We know too much about him, and it's now coming back to bite him.
His memes, keeping Black Twitter alive during the lockdowns. So when Undisputed ended, Stephen A. Smith swooped in and brought him over to First Take. It looked like a boss move, a real power play on TV. Shannon had that classic country uncle vibe down to a science. Brown liquor in hand, cigar puffin', durag tied tight. Some folks threw shade, calling it borderline clownin', but he was just too entertaining, especially after Club Shay Shay blew up. In 2024, that Cat Williams interview sent the internet into a frenzy. Dude was trending for weeks. At that moment, Shannon was untouchable.
What y'all think?
Everybody wanted a piece. There was a $100 million ESPN bag sitting right in front of him. Real generational wealth. But just when he was on top, Shannon had to remind the world he moves reckless. Like real reckless. Look, older dudes dating younger women ain't new. Diddy was almost 40 when he started seeing 19-year-old Cassie. Eddie Murphy's got enough kids to run a whole football team, and even he's with someone 20 years younger. But Shannon? He took it to the extreme. Man was 54, out here talking to a 19-year-old. Even DiCaprio might have raised an eyebrow like, bro, seriously? And here's the kicker. He didn't just mess with someone way younger, he got caught on tape.
I'm a bulljack.
Word is, Shannon told the girl he'd choke her if she didn't stop running her mouth. And yeah, it's all on audio. Whether she set him up or not, the fact he said it, that's wild. Zero awareness, zero control. And then there's the X-tape mess. Yup, somehow there's a tape floating around out there. And get this, no NDA. How's a man in his 50s, with millions in the bank, still moving like some freshman trying to impress the frat boys? Especially after that Instagram chaos last year, it's like he never learned. After that messy viral moment where all his business got blasted online, you'd think Shannon would have wised up, lawyer up, lock it down, get everybody around him to sign airtight NDAs, protect the bag. But nah, Shannon didn't do none of that. And now, it's looking real bad. ESPN and Disney, they ain't sticking their necks out for him. In less than 48 hours, his whole situation started falling apart. ESPN tried to play it smooth, saying Shannon was stepping away to deal with personal matters. But let's be real, insiders spilled quick that this wasn't no friendly break. One source straight up said, there are reports circulating that Shannon Sharpe's career at ESPN is over. I even tapped in with someone close to production, and they said, yeah, he's still on First Take Mondays and Tuesdays. But that's it. Every other day he's off? That ain't just a schedule. Fans in the comments peeped it right away. He's out of here. They backed him up after the first scandal. But this hit different. And honestly, he shouldn't even be in situations like this at his age. Even Stephen A. Smith, the same dude who vouched for Shannon and helped get him through the door, had to keep it real. On his own podcast, Stephen A. admitted he had a direct conversation with Disney's top dog. He knew what was coming. This wasn't just time off. It was a slow, silent push out the back before NFL season dropped. They were protecting the brand, not Shannon. And then, boom, that lawsuit made headlines. A $50 million civil suit from a 21-year-old woman accusing Shannon of assault, battery, and emotional distress. Shannon swears it was all consensual. But once that kind of heat hits the press, it's curtains, man. Shannon's team jumped into panic mode fast, pushing the story that it was all consensual. They claimed it was just a setup, a money grab, and pointed fingers at Tony Busby, the same high-powered lawyer dragging Diddy and Jay-Z into court. But guess what? None of that mattered. Disney wasn't trying to hear it. And inside ESPN, folks were straight up furious. Employees started calling it out, saying it was wild hypocrisy to protect Shannon when women at the company had been fired for way less. The message was loud and clear. Shannon had to go. But that was just the surface, because the minute that lawsuit hit, it cracked the dam wide open, and everything started spilling out. Shannon's skeletons didn't just fall out the closet, they exploded out. And that closet was stuffed like a Shane warehouse, no lie. First thing people clocked? His type. Shannon's long history of chasing after super young, racially ambiguous women, while low-key disrespecting black women, came back hard. And the moment that really exposed it, that cringe on-camera moment with Yvonne Orji. Chad Ochocinco tried to hook him up with Yvonne. She's gorgeous, successful, celibate, basically the kind of woman men say they want. But Shannon? He didn't just say no. He straight up laughed at the idea. On camera. He even tossed out Miss B Nasty's name, a white OnlyFans model, saying that was more his vibe. That wasn't just disrespect. It was loud, clear, and flat out cruel. And it made one thing obvious. Shannon's ideal woman looked nothing like the black women out here walking in dignity and faith. Once folks online started putting the puzzle pieces together, the pattern hit different, and it was impossible to ignore. Gabriela Zuniga, the woman suing Shannon for a wild $50 million, fits the exact profile folks have been pointing out for years. She's young, white-passing, and vulnerable. Exactly his type. But this ain't just about being controlling. Gabriela came with bombshells. She says Shannon recorded her without permission, ignored her safe words, and kept pushing boundaries even after she begged him to stop. And when she finally tried to walk away, Shannon allegedly tried to buy her silence, offered $10 million to keep her mouth shut, but when she said no and took it public, Shannon pulled the shakedown card. Too late. The damage was done. And those leaked audio clips, they made it so much worse. One recording had Shannon saying something disturbing. Another had him straight up joking about it. It was a terrible look. His legal team tried to clap back, dropping screenshots of old texts where Gabriela supposedly asked for rough play, dominance, even things that sounded extreme. But here's the problem. Even if most of it was consensual, the second Gabriela said no, and he kept going, that's it. Game over. Consent ain't a forever pass. It has to be ongoing. Once you cross that line, the whole situation flips, and Shannon's collapse isn't just about Gabriela. This lawsuit cracked open a door, and now all kinds of past dirt is flooding out. A new report dropped claiming that back in his undisputed days with Skip Bayless, Shannon got into it with a female production assistant. And word is, it ended with a quiet payout in the hundreds of thousands. But it doesn't stop there. Remember Michelle Evans? Back in 2010, she filed a restraining order on Shannon, saying he assaulted her during a breakup after cheating drama. She claimed he forced her to her knees. And that's when people really started digging deep into his past. This ain't looking like a one-time thing. It's starting to look like a pattern. And yeah, Michelle said Shannon assaulted her without consent. That mess? It's what allegedly got him quietly dropped from CBS Sports back in the day. Now the past is circling back like clockwork. And when Michelle sat down with Tasha K, she spilled even more. She exposed Shannon's weird bedroom fixations, his need to control, and the dark side that most folks never saw on TV. And if you thought those old Club Shay Shay episodes with Monique and Cat Williams aged badly before, go watch them now. Monique basically begged Shannon on camera to quit chasing young girls and find a real woman, a grown woman, someone who could actually love him. For real, she said. And what did Shannon do? Just laughed it off. He couldn't do it. Even Cat Williams tried to drop some game, joking about how dangerous it is for black men messing around with young white women. The warning signs were right there, and Shannon just brushed them off like it was all jokes. But let's be honest, Disney and ESPN didn't cut him off because they suddenly found their morals. They did it because folks inside the building started raising hell, especially the women. Multiple insiders said the hypocrisy was loud, too loud to keep ignoring. Women had been fired over tiny mistakes, while Shannon kept his spot with major accusations hanging over him. There was real tension brewing. People were scared. Scared of a class action lawsuit, scared of looking like they were covering for a scandal, scared of another Me Too moment popping off, right under their roof. Disney saw the smoke and didn't wait around for the flames. And if you know anything about Disney, loyalty ain't in their playbook. What they do care about: shareholders, sponsors, and that squeaky clean image. Shannon turned into a liability overnight. Meanwhile, Shannon was still sitting on ESPN's payroll while facing way heavier accusations than folks who got fired for way less. Disney knew what time it was. They saw that discrimination lawsuit just waiting to blow, so they cut ties fast. Now they're saying Shannon's just stepping away until football season. But let's be real, he's not coming back. And even if he did, that stain ain't going nowhere. It's a shame. He had the potential to be bigger than Stephen A. Smith. Could have built his own empire. But instead, he's out here fighting just to keep his image from completely crashing. And Stephen A.? He's caught right in the middle, looking like the messy middleman. He vouched for Shannon, brought him on to First Take, said it'd be ratings gold. Now he's backpedaling fast, trying to clean his hands. But it's too late. The mask is off. The internet's full of receipts. The timeline is packed with red flags people chose to ignore because Shannon was funny, relatable, viral. But behind the laughs and tight shirts was a man making reckless decisions, collecting enemies, and flirting with disaster. And now, that disaster pulled up. Shannon thought he was untouchable, too loved, too polished, too famous to fall. He thought the rules didn't apply. Thought he could keep chasing teens while cracking jokes about black women like it was all sweet. Thought NDAs and hush money would keep his secrets buried. But karma don't take hush money. And this time, it cashed in loud. If y'all found this breakdown wild, drop a like, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. This story's far from over, and we'll be right here bringing all the heat. Catch you in the next one.